Okay, so I want to do a music documentary, and I decided to look at Katy Perry as part of me. And that's only one of the 3 films I found that are most recent music documentaries, including Justin Bieber's Never Say Never and One Direction's This Is Us. So,
the atmosphere I grew up in was 100% Christian. I started singing in church. I never really had another plan.
There's no music though, it's all in my head. It's in my heart, actually.
Let's marry you.
If you have a dream, you gotta go on a journey to fulfill that dream.
Katy Perry, Part of Me.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
This film is not yet rated. Only in theaters this summer.
okay, so that was the teaser trailer for Katy Perry's film, and that's what I used as inspiration to understand what I need to do for my own trailer. Here's the next slide.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so this is kind of an overview of the sort of things that you might find with music documentaries. It's kind of the fine points that I've made from the what I've written in my blog. So basically, narrative is kind of based on always the tale of a music artist. It might show a bit of trouble that they might have had in their life, or basically where they might have stimulated their interest in music from, say, an early age. So whether it means they might have taken up an interest in playing a music instrument and then it's developed from there. And then generally where they've risen to stardom and how they've got so much success now. Audience is generally the music fans, more predisposed towards ones that like that certain music artist and not necessarily a general one, where it encompasses, say, like people that like rock music and classical music, because obviously they're not going to like, say, something like Katy Perry unless you really like pop music. But yeah, it's typically, I would say, for, say, someone like the one of the people I've looked at, it's normally girls, supposedly, and maybe prepubescent teenage girls. Representation is usually positively based on like music artists, because they retain so much success. But yeah, as I said, there could be some trouble that they might have experienced, and that is another representation. And conventions, you will often find lots of old footage, like you saw at the start of Katy Perry's concert footage, voiceovers, screaming with fans, and extreme long shots of the concerts. So in the clip that you just saw, you often saw some high-angle extreme long shots, which I've got on the next slide. Quick cuts, fades black and white, cuts that basically resemble the flash of the camera where you heard sound along with it. So that's kind of reflecting the showbiz lifestyle that these surfers actually undertake. And obviously the characters were interspersed, you saw this pink typography, which is quite feminine, and that's kind of reflective of the actual artist itself and the audience that like Katy Perry might have. And obviously there's a comical element, so it's kind of showing that there is an entertainment value to what's being shown in the actual movie. So in a way, that's kind of showing me that, as well as promoting a serious side to doing a teaser trailer, with music documentaries I should have a comical side to engage the audience and make them feel part and relate to the artists themselves. So that was it's a sort of high angle, extreme long shot that was in there. So you've got all like the lighting, you've got everything in it on the audience. Sound, I haven't put much for sound, but basically a lot of it is you hear the own artist's music. You have the voiceover, as said, narration, camera sound, mostly sound effects. Basically, it's kind of that fake element to it, but in some ways there is kind of that aspect of, there's no reality in some sort of way of like music industry and stuff like that. So it is kind of reflective in that way, but they're trying to promote a very positive light, because it's this like unrealistic world, but it's something that's enjoyable, and I think that was it.
Good, very good. Feedback, anybody? No feedback? Very detailed, really clear.
Okay.
The only question is, but I know you've already answered this previously, who's the subject matter for the documentary?
As in?
To go to do in terms of your own teaser trailer later.
Oh, what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing Katy.
Yeah.
Because she's doing like songwriting, and she's like obviously had that inspiration as a music artist. So I've also taken some shots already, and yeah, I haven't probably explained it, but I think it'd be good to like use some close-up shots to show the artistry of playing an instrument and singing. But yeah, it's obviously there's not going to be the high showbiz lifestyle like with Katy Perry and that, because the films that have been made for them are because they have such a big fan base and they have so much success. But it's kind of more for the acoustic, where you might see on some programs they do have music documentaries. They're not necessarily films, but they do have them ones, and they are for like less known artists. But it's kind of, I should probably look at them as well. But yeah.
Great, thank you. No more feedback?
Are you generally going to look at a genre of music as a whole to create a documentary, or a specific person? I know you said Katie, but then you just said someone else I didn't catch.
Well, the whole genre is documentary, and then I've kind of split into the subgenre
Music.
of music documentary, and then Katie's kind of coming in part of it, because music documentary can be either, you know, any type of music. It's just kind of like, say, this is the Moore side where it's, you know, they have lots of like capital and then they invest lots of like money to film. Whereas this, it's like comparing it to like, you know, a logo to film, to say like a Hollywood conglomerate sort of thing. So, okay.
Great, thank you.